What's the best way to reach out to someone who I think is struggling at work without looking too nosy?
Well, there's so much context needed around this.
There's words in there that are, it's packaged, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everyone, we're all different. And so different approaches work for different people. Even different generations, respond to different ways of approach. So if you're talking to a baby boomer, they're a lot less okay with, sort of therapy and that sort of thing compared to Gen Z, who, you've really got to bring your A game in terms of knowing, what's what around psychology, and they're really open to having those conversations. So first of all, think about the person you're talking to. Think about what you know about them, their level of comfort. If there's someone who is not that comfortable, who is a little bit defended, I always recommend side by side, so get out of the office, a walk. I'm not going to suggest everybody go and drink, but strangely enough, the same part of the brain lights up when you're having a beer sitting next to someone as it does in therapy. So, but I think that's probably more because of the side by side than the actual alcohol. Anyway, I hope that is. But yeah, anything that's side by side is less confrontational, and I think start with you. Rather than putting it into you're this, I've noticed that, just say, oh God, I've noticed, lately I've just, for some reason I've just, had a little bit of concern, and I just thought, I need to check that out and work out if it's me or if there is actually something wrong. So that's a nice way of sort of not putting too much pressure and making them feel, because the one thing you're trying to avoid is people feeling shamed. So some people feel that if someone's noticed they're not okay, that, they experience a bit of shame around that, which is sad, but that's real for them. So you're trying to mitigate that potential. And I think the more you make it about yourself, the more that mitigates that.
Renee, you've done mental health first aid. One of the things I remember from that is you need to, the side-by-side is great because it's not head on, you're not looking someone in the eye. But also being able to just say hey, I've recognized something a bit different in you, which is a nice way to kind of start that conversation. Is there any other ways that you've used in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was again just kind of coming from a place of your own not making it too confrontation around what's wrong with you. Actually kind of, I've noticed something different, could be me, taking all of the sting out of it. And I guess just starting to talk about, if they kind of open up a little bit, then give a little bit more. If they're not, maybe just kind of go, look, these are the kinds of things I'm noticing. It might not be anything, kind of just taking the pressure off it, but very much a similar kind of approach, I think, Martine and Andy. Just try to give them the space to feel comfortable to open up, and without judgment, obviously.
Yeah, and really checking out, it's a good time for us to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Or can we make a time next week to catch up?
Definitely.
So if you're feeling fragile and someone asks you how you are, sometimes you're at work, it's the big wave comes over.
Definitely something I learned early on is no meeting invites. Why did you put a meeting invite in my diary to talk? And I just want to have a coffee. But I think taking them out of the office, not in an environment where you might be interrupted, for example, if someone private, ideally in an environment where there are other people around, so they feel a little bit comfortable, but not listening in. A few little tips there.
Such very good advice. I get often pinged at work for some. I do that. Hey, have you got time for a quick chat? And now it's like a thing that Andy asked you for a quick chat, and it's not. Usually it's just a quick chat. Honestly, that's all it is. But because if you're in charge and you ask someone for a quick chat, they worry about it instantly and stuff.
Yeah. No diary invites, no quick chats.
No quick chats. Yeah. There is now a channel in Slack called Quick Chat. Excellent. Really good advice.